The holiday season means great food, quality time with friends and family, and thoughtful gestures. But it's also one of the most wasteful times of the year. Americans actually throw away 25% more trash between Thanksgiving and New Year's. One aspect of that waste is holiday gift giving between unwanted gifts and all the wrapping paper. But there are ways to give gifts more mindfully, from our approach to the items themselves to wrapping. So in this video, I'll be going over all those things as kind of a holistic guide to sustainable gift giving. And if you're new here, my name is Lily and I talk about sustainable fashion and living on this channel. I also have a blog, TikTok, and Instagram where I'm a little more active. So if you're into any of those things I talk about, I hope you'll stick around. So let's first talk about giving gifts that people actually want. Each holiday season, there's a popular 1993 study by economist Joel Waldfogel that makes the rounds. The paper, published in the American Economic Review, is called The Deadweight Loss of Christmas. Waldfogel estimates that 10 to 33% of holiday spending is wasted because the gift receiver doesn't value the gift at the same amount that the gift giver paid. For example, if I pay $100 for a gift, but you only value it at $70, that's $30 of deadweight loss. And with Americans spending $167 billion on holiday gifts in 2020, this could mean $17 to $55 billion in deadweight loss. Now, the study is somewhat controversial since it focused on Yale students and is not representative of the broader population. It also approaches gift giving from a really theoretical perspective and doesn't take into account the sentimental value of giving and getting presents. But whether you agree with the study or not, I'm sure we've all been given bad gifts, not to sound ungrateful or anything, but I'm sure most of us can think of a gift we didn't value at the same amount the gift giver paid or we didn't end up using. So how can we avoid situations like this? A great blog article by Will Patrick points out that there's often a misalignment between the gift giver and gift receiver priorities. So the gift giver prioritizes surprise, desirability, materiality, and social responsibility. They're often thinking more about the moment of gift exchange rather than the long term. They want it to look good in that moment. The gift giver prioritizes usefulness, versatility, quality, and need and desire. They're usually thinking about how the gift will fit into their life long term. So to avoid bad gifts, we can try to align with the gift receiver's priorities as much as possible. And some ways to do that are to, number one, ask for a list. The most useful presents I've gotten are the ones that I've asked for. While this does take away the element of surprise to an extent, it shows that you care about the gift receiver's desires. You can also let them know that you want to see what they're interested in and that you might get them something else related to the list. It is actually possible to add value in gift giving if you can find something that the receiver loves that they didn't originally think about. Please also respect people's wishes for no gift. There's a lot of pressure to give something, but this pressure is often what leads to the worst presents, especially if it's a more distant relationship. And it kind of goes against the spirit of gift giving to give someone something that they didn't want. Number two, think about the best gifts you've gotten and what made them good. So are they your favorites because you still use them years later, because they remind you of special memories, because they fit into your life in a way that you didn't predict? And then on the other hand, also think about the worst gifts you've gotten and why you didn't like them. Was it because they were based on trends rather than your personal interests? Because the gift giving was more of a formality than a meaningful exchange? Because the gift was generic? Of course, everyone is different, but I'm sure most people can resonate with at least some of those feelings. Take these experiences and try to think from the perspective of someone receiving a gift. And number three, when in doubt, give money or gift cards. So sometimes you just don't know someone well enough to get a great non-generic gift, and you could always try to ask their friends if it's a Secret Santa, for example, or you could play it safe and give cash or gift cards. Most people wouldn't complain about getting either as long as the gift cards are applicable to a wider range of folks. So I personally would recommend Earth Hero as it's kind of like an Amazon for sustainable products and it's a more ethical platform. Even if you approach gifting mindfully and know the person really well, it can still be hard to come up with gift ideas. So to get the ball rolling, here are some sustainable gift ideas for all budgets and types of people. So I would first recommend experience gifts because they're a great way to spend time with the people you love, and since you're not gifting a physical object, there's usually less waste. Just make sure that the recipient would still enjoy the experience, as it is still possible to give a bad experience gift. And what's great about experience gifts is that you can DIY many of them. So the first thing I would recommend is a paint bar night. Basically, this is where you go to a local studio and there's an instructor that shows you step by step how to paint this one image. Typically there is also food and drink, but you usually have to pay extra for it. And it's great for people who are beginners to painting and also people who are more experienced. Right here is actually a painting that I did at one of the paint nights I've gone to. And I think these are really fun because you end up with something that you can decorate your house with afterwards. A second idea would be doing some sort of remote getaway or just some sort of travel experience. It doesn't have to be anything super fancy. You could also do a staycation. Another idea is an arcade day. So this is especially good if you have kids, but even if you don't, I mean, I'm an adult, I love going to the arcade. You could also do an escape room. So that can be good for a group of friends. Also, now that it's winter, anything winter themed, so ice skating, skiing, that sort of thing would be really fun to do. Concert tickets are also a great idea, so you don't necessarily have to get something that's happening right now. You could just get the tickets for later in the future, in the spring, the summer, and that can be great, especially if you're wanting to do something outdoors. I also think it would be fun to do a picnic. Even in this cold weather, it's possible you could do like a wintry picnic, and there are also some professional companies that will set up a fancy picnic for you. I've seen them on TikTok before, so that would be an option. Another trendy thing to do recently is axe throwing. So there are some places that have cropped up in major cities, and it's something I've always wanted to try. It just seems kind of novelty and a great way to relieve some tension, I guess. Another fun idea with friends would be doing a photo shoot. So this is something that you could do yourselves if you have a nice camera or even just your phones. And you could also pay someone to take photos for you. And finally, if you don't have time to actually do an activity with someone, I think getting them a subscription to a platform that they would use is really helpful. So there's Netflix, Spotify Premium. I know as a creator, I use Canva a lot. Other people might like Adobe Photoshop or Lightroom. So there are a lot of different options for subscriptions. If you want some more ideas, I have a whole blog post with 40 experience gift ideas. So definitely check that out in the description box. If you want to gift physical objects instead, here are some options. So I really like mushroom grow kits, any sort of grow kit for flowers or herbs. You can find these on Etsy, but Back to the Roots is also a popular brand that works well that I've personally used. Handmade jewelry is always really fun. With handmade jewelry, you get to support independent artisans and give a unique gift. So my favorite earrings are from Snowdrop Accessories on Etsy. The creator has beautiful wire earrings in gold and silver. My favorite ones are the body-shaped earrings and the vulva-shaped ones. There's also the Group Hug solar panel. This is a portable window solar panel that stores enough energy to charge your phone, smartwatch, speakers, and more. I know a couple people who have these who uniquely charge their phones with this now. Another option is the paper shoot camera. If you love the look of film photos but don't want the hassle of developing them, the paper shoot camera creates that film camera feel through digital photos. And while you could apply filters to your phone photos, the camera allows you to be a little bit more disconnected. Another option is the Pila compostable phone case. Pila is the Canadian company that offers home compostable phone cases, and they'll also take back your old case and recycle it. And look at how cute this mushroom case is. Another option is the 2 Degrees East analog watch. So 2 Degrees East is a conscious watch brand made from conflict-free metals. The owners, Sally and Ron, trace most of their supply chain and visit many suppliers personally to ensure fair wages and safe conditions. I also think Gen UC glasses or sunglasses or blue light glasses would be a great option. So Gen UC creates prescription glasses or sunglasses from recycled plastic bottles. They're made in Flint, Michigan, where they experienced a water crisis from 2014 to 2019, and the bottles are a result of that crisis. They'll also take back your used Gen UC glasses to be recycled, and they donate 1% back to the local community. And of course, this is a sustainable fashion channel, so one last option could be thrifted clothing or clothing from sustainable brands. And this is great if you know your friend's sense of style or their wish list. It can be really special to get them an article of clothing. And if you don't have the time to go searching yourself, there are people who will do curated style bundles like Jade from Lavender Haze LA in my video on thrifting. Jade creates thrifted clothing bundles based around certain style icons and aesthetics, so like cottagecore or Carrie Bradshaw. And she's a really lovely person, has had hundreds of happy customers as evidenced by her Depop. If you're looking to buy something new, I also have an ethical and sustainable brand directory that you can check out. Now let's talk about where you can find sustainable gifts. I know I mentioned some options, but you might want to take a look at different platforms so that you can come up with your own ideas. I really like looking in thrift stores and antique malls. You can find a lot of unique items secondhand, from clothing to housewares to decor. And if there aren't any thrift stores near you, I recommend eBay, Poshmark, and Mercari as some online platforms. Etsy is also a go-to. As many of you probably know, it's an online platform for independent creators around the world, and they even offset carbon emissions from all shipments. You do have to be careful though, because the platform isn't well regulated. It's kind of become overrun with drop shippers who sell mass-produced items directly from the supplier. These are usually easy to identify though, as there are often duplicate items in other stores. You can learn more about how to identify drop shipping on Etsy in my video. Local small businesses are a great option, so I love discovering these on Instagram and TikTok. See if you have any bulk or zero waste stores near you, and you can also look for boutiques and specialty stores. I like shopping local small businesses because you won't have to wait for shipping, which can take a few weeks, especially if you're buying from a small business online. And it's also a nice way to make a conventional gift more mindful. So for example, if I wanted to gift someone a running watch and I couldn't find it secondhand, I would try to get it from a local running store. Earth Hero is a nice platform to find a bunch of different sustainable products. It's a sustainable brand marketplace. If you're not sure what to get, or if you're not sure if a brand is sustainable, shopping on a platform like Earth Hero makes the search a lot easier. Now let's talk about wrapping. About 2.3 million pounds of wrapping paper ends up in landfills each year. Most wrapping paper is recyclable, but some of it isn't because it contains plastic. To see if yours is, you should do the scrunch test. So if it scrunches up and stays that way, it should be recyclable. If it opens back up, it's probably not because it contains plastic or metals. You should also double check with your local recycling plants because some might not take even recyclable wrapping paper. Here are some other components of gift wrapping that are often recycled but shouldn't be. So plastic tape should be trashed. There is some recyclable paper tape though out there. Tissue paper is usually already recycled and it's too weak to be re-recycled. You can reuse it or compost it instead, but only if it doesn't have any glitter on it. Plastic bows are not recyclable because they're that soft plastic, but you can reuse them instead. And then gift bags often contain plastic, but they're super easy to reuse. I know my family personally has a stash of gift bags that we've received over the years that we just pull from. And while you should absolutely use the wrapping materials you already have, here are some low-waste alternatives to traditional wrapping if you're looking for something else and you've already used up your stash. So instead of traditional wrapping paper, you can always use paper grocery bags. Old maps look really awesome, as do newspapers and magazines. I think the comic section looks amazing. Also, thrifted cloth, silk scarves, or dishcloths can be a great alternative. So the art of wrapping gifts with cloth is known as furoshiki in Japan, and there are lots of different videos on YouTube to teach you how to do that. And then instead of plastic bows or tape, you can use twine, which is usually natural and compostable. You could use paper tape like I mentioned, and then you could use natural decorations like twigs of evergreen or pine cones. I've also seen some people use some slices of dried citrus. I hope this was a helpful look at giving gifts sustainably from just a holistic perspective. If you have any questions or any suggestions for other folks giving gifts, definitely leave them in the comments. As usual, the text version of this video is over on my blog. Thank you all for watching. I hope you have a lovely holiday season, and I'll see you next time.